Let me tell you something real simple, but real powerful. Staying calm is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's not a personality trait. It's a skill. And just like any skill, it needs practice. You don't wake up one day magically unbothered by life. No, it comes from going through things, paying attention, and choosing again and again not to let the world shake you. We live in a world that constantly demands a reaction. From the minute we wake up, there are dings and buzzes, emails and alerts, people pushing our buttons, life throwing us curveballs. And for most of us, our instinct is to match that chaos. Somebody cuts us off in traffic, we tense up. A plan falls apart, we panic. Someone says something disrespectful, we fire right back. But here's the truth. If you always let the outside world dictate your inner world, you'll never know peace. You train your mind the same way you train a muscle. Repetition, patience, and showing up every day. You don't get strong by lifting weights once and quitting. You don't become a calm, grounded person by meditating once on a mountaintop and thinking the job is done. It's in the daily choices and the quiet decisions nobody sees where your calm is built. Now, let me make this clear. Being calm doesn't mean you don't feel things. It doesn't mean you're numb or indifferent. No, it means you feel everything, but you don't become everything you feel. You can feel the anger, but you don't have to act out of it. You can feel the fear, but you don't have to obey it. Calm is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of it. And when you start to treat calm like a skill, something you practice, you begin to take your power back. Because now, you're not at the mercy of the next bad day. You're not tossed around by other people's moods. You're not stuck waiting for the world to be peaceful for you to be peaceful. You become the peace. You see, the world will test you. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. People will disappoint you, plans will fall apart, and some days nothing will go right. But if you've done the work ahead of time, if you've trained that calm muscle, you won't break every time life bends you. You'll breathe, you'll pause, you'll respond with grace. And that is the kind of strength no one can take from you. Sometimes folks think being calm means being passive. But let me tell you, it takes courage to be calm. It takes real discipline not to swing back when life throws a punch. It takes wisdom to say, I see what's happening, but I'm not going to let it ruin me. It takes heart to stay soft in a hard world, and it takes strength to stay grounded when everything around you is shaking. So when the storms come, and they will come, you'll know you are ready. Not because you can control the storm, but because you've learned to anchor yourself. And baby, when you are anchored, the wind can blow, the rain can pour, but you won't drift. And maybe one day, someone else will look at you, the way you carry yourself, the way you stay steady, and they'll wonder how you do it. They won't know the quiet hours you spent learning not to react, the mornings you started with stillness, the nights you prayed for peace. They won't know the practice behind your calm, but you'll know. You'll know you built that peace brick by brick, choice by choice. Dollars. So don't wait for life to settle down before you learn to settle your spirit. Don't wait for perfect circumstances before you practice inner stillness. Do the work now, because when the world gets loud, your peace will speak for you. The breath is one of the simplest things we have, yet it holds so much power. It's with us from the moment we enter this world until the moment we leave. And most of the time, we don't even notice it. But I tell you something, when you learn to notice it, when you learn to use it, you unlock something deep inside yourself, a kind of calm that doesn't need permission, a kind of peace you can carry with you no matter what's going on around you. You see, the breath is a bridge. It connects the body to the mind, the outside world to your inner world. When things start to spin out, when your heart is racing, your hands are shaking, your thoughts are all tangled up, the breath is always there, quiet, steady, waiting for you to come back home to yourself. Most people think that to calm down, they need to change what's happening outside. They think they need the noise to stop, the people to behave, the situation to fix itself. But the truth is, calm starts within, and nothing brings you back to yourself like your breath. Slow it down, and you slow everything else down with it. Have you ever watched a baby breathe? They breathe with their whole body. It's soft, natural, full. Somewhere along the way, we unlearn that. We start to hold our breath when we're scared, clench our jaws when we're angry, tense our shoulders when we're anxious. And before we even realize it, we've trained our bodies to live in stress. But you can train it differently. You can teach your body gently, lovingly, that it is safe, that it's okay to release, that not everything requires panic or defense. And the way you start doing that is with your breath. The next time you feel that rush, when the day goes wrong, when someone says something that stings, when you feel like screaming or hiding or giving up, pause just for a moment. Inhale slowly through your nose. Let your lungs fill up like they got all the time in the world. Then exhale, soft and steady, like you're letting go of something heavy. Do it again and again. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. That's you choosing peace, choosing presence, choosing power. Because here's the thing, you cannot be both, deeply breathing and deeply panicking at the same time. The body isn't built that way. When you take control of your breath, you send a message to your whole system. I'm okay, I'm safe. I've got this. The heart slows down, the muscles release, the mind gets quiet. You shift from chaos to calm without saying a word. And the more you practice, the faster it works. It becomes your reset button, your anchor, your tool for staying steady when the world tries to knock you off balance. And you don't have to wait for things to get bad to use it. Practice it when things are quiet, in the morning before the day begins, at night before you sleep, in line at the store, in the car, in the middle of a conversation when you feel yourself getting tired. Make it a habit. Let it be part of how you live. People will ask you, how do you stay so calm? They'll think it's your nature. But what they won't see are all the little moments you chose your breath over your temper, your breath over your fear, your breath over your urge to run. They won't see the work, but you'll feel the reward. You don't need expensive tools or fancy rituals to begin, just a breath. Right now, wherever you are, take it. Let it remind you that peace is not something you chase. It's something you return to again and again, quietly, powerfully, fully. There is a moment, a small, quiet moment, that lives right between what happens to you and how you respond to it. Most people miss it. They move so fast, react so quick, that they let that moment slip right through their fingers. But if you can catch it, if you can learn to pause just for a breath, you can change everything. See, reacting is easy. Anybody can react. Someone yells at you, you yell back. Someone upsets you, you fall apart. Someone lies to you, you explode. That's reaction. It's fast, it's automatic, and it's fueled by emotion. But responding takes strength. It takes awareness. It takes a calm mind and a steady heart. Responding is not about denying what you feel. It's about choosing what you do with what you feel. Now, let me tell you something. There is no power in being controlled by every little thing that happens around you. There is no peace in letting your day be hijacked by someone else's attitude. You've got to reach a place where you say, I will not be pulled out of my peace by someone who hasn't found theirs. That's when you know you've grown. That's when you know you're learning to live, not just survive. It starts with awareness. The awareness that you can pause, that you don't have to go wherever your emotions try to drag you. The pause is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's a breath that says, let me check in with myself before I check out on myself. It's a space where you remind yourself who you are and how you want to move through this world. And I know it's hard, especially when something triggers that deep place in you, that old wound, that buried anger. In those moments, silence feels like surrender, but baby, it's not surrender, it's strategy. Silence gives you clarity. That pause gives you power. Because once you see the moment for what it is, once you separate the event from your reaction, you get to choose. Not just react, choose. Imagine that. Living your life with choice instead of impulse. How different would your days look? Your relationships, your self-talk. That kind of discipline doesn't come overnight. It comes from practice, from failing sometimes, from reacting when you didn't mean to, from walking away and saying, next time I'll pause, next time I'll breathe, next time I'll choose different. And one day, without even thinking, you'll find yourself in that old situation, but with a new response. That's growth. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to fight every battle. Some things don't deserve your energy. Some people don't deserve a reaction. Not because you're above them, but because your peace is more valuable than proving a point. And when you choose to respond instead of react, something beautiful happens. You begin to take back control. You start walking through life as the author of your actions, not just a character in someone else's drama. You stop letting other people's storms drown your spirit. You learn how to be the calm, not just search for it. Sometimes people confuse being calm with being cold. They think if you don't react, you don't care. But oh, how wrong they are. Being calm doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means you're deeply connected to yourself. So connected that you don't allow your emotions to run wild and tear things down you've worked so hard to build. There is a time to speak, a time to act, a time to defend, a time to fight, but let it be from a place of intention, not impulse. Let it come from clarity, not chaos. And know this, every time you choose to pause, every time you stop and breathe before you speak, you're building a better life. You're becoming the kind of person who walks into a storm and carries stillness with them. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get it right every time. But if you can just start by noticing that moment, by catching that space between what happens and what you do, then you're already on the path. You're already changing the way you meet the world. So don't rush to react. Don't let the noise outside drown the calm inside. Remember that pause you take may be the very thing that saves your peace. There's a funny thing about chaos. It always feels bigger than it really is. It walks into the room loud and messy, demanding attention, making you feel like the world is falling apart. But most of the time, it's not a crisis. It's just life doing what life does. It's change. It's challenge. It's things not going the way you planned. And how you see that moment, how you frame it in your mind, will decide whether you rise or whether you crumble. You can take two people, give them the same storm, and get two completely different outcomes. One person sees it as the end. The other sees it as a beginning. One says, why is this happening to me? The other says, what is this trying to teach me? That's the power of perspective. That's the power of the mind. And if you can learn to shift your thinking in those difficult moments, you can turn almost anything into something meaningful. See, the mind is like a lens. If it's smudged with fear, with doubt, with the pain of the past, everything you look at will feel distorted. A small problem looks like a disaster. A challenge looks like a curse. But if you learn to clean that lens, to shift that perspective, you begin to see clearer. You realize that not every hard thing is here to hurt you. Some things come to shake you awake, to stretch you, to make you stronger. Now, I'm not saying everything happens for a reason, but I am saying you can find a reason to grow no matter what happens. That's what keeps you from falling apart when the world gets hard. That's what keeps you steady when the plans fall through, when the people you trusted let you down, when the road ahead looks uncertain. You start to understand that chaos isn't always the enemy. Sometimes it's the doorway to the next version of you. You may not control what life hands you, but you always get to decide how you hold it. You get to decide whether you carry it like a burden or like a lesson, whether you let it weigh you down or lift you up, whether you let it break you or build you. That's the quiet power of reframing. And let me tell you, it's not about pretending everything is fine. It's not about putting on a fake smile and calling pain a blessing when it still hurts. No, it's about honoring the hurt while still choosing to believe in your ability to rise. It's about saying, yes, this is hard. Yes, this hurts, but no, it will not define me. That's strength. That's resilience. It's easy to stay calm when everything's going your way. But the real work, the real growth happens in the moments when everything feels uncertain. That's when you learn who you are. That's when you discover just how strong your mind can be. And the more you practice shifting your perspective, reframing the chaos, the less power the outside world has over your inner peace. Next time you're in a situation that feels overwhelming, stop and ask yourself, is this really a crisis or is it just uncomfortable? Is this really the end or could it be the start of something new? Could this be teaching me patience? Could it be teaching me faith? Could it be preparing me for something I can't see yet? You'll be surprised how different things look when you stop reacting and start reflecting. When you stop saying, why me? And start saying, watch me. When you decide that even if this moment is tough, you are tougher. That mindset, that shift is what keeps you steady when everything around you is spinning. Life will not always go as planned. People will not always act the way you hoped. But if you can meet chaos with calm, if you can meet uncertainty with curiosity instead of fear, then nothing can shake your foundation. You become unshakable not because life is easy, but because your mind is steady. So the next time the world throws you something unexpected, remember, it may look like chaos, but it's not always a crisis. It might just be the very thing that wakes up the strength in you. The mind is a powerful thing. It doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. That's why fear can grip you even when the threat isn't in the room, it's just in your thoughts. But the same way fear can trick the mind into panic, peace can train the mind into calm. You can rehearse stillness. You can practice staying grounded long before the storm ever arrives. That's how you build a mind that doesn't fold when pressure shows up. You train it again and again in the quiet moments. When people think of preparation, they often think about preparing their schedule, preparing their finances, preparing their bodies. But how often do we think about preparing our minds? Preparing our hearts to face the unexpected, not with fear, but with clarity. Not with panic, but with poise. Most folks wait until the trouble is already here before they start searching for peace. But baby, by then it's too late. Peace is something you build before you need it. Mental rehearsal is not just for athletes and performers. It's for everyday people with everyday battles. It's for the mother trying to stay patient. The teacher walking into a classroom that might test every nerve. The business person about to make a high-stakes decision. The person learning to speak up after a lifetime of staying quiet. You can see yourself walking through those moments with grace before you even get there. And the more you do that, the more familiar calm becomes. You see, the mind is always listening. If you constantly rehearse worst-case scenarios, if you feed it fear, it will prepare for panic. It will run at the first sign of discomfort. But if you start feeling at peace, if you start imagining yourself breathing through the tension, standing firm in the storm, speaking softly when others shout, then your mind will start to believe that too. And when the real moment comes, you won't have to fake your calm. You'll remember it. You'll fall into it like a well-worn path. It's not magic. It's muscle memory. And it's built just like anything else, one repetition at a time. You sit in stillness. You close your eyes. You imagine the moment that usually rattles you. You feel it. You let your body tense, then you breathe. You let it go, and you do it again. You're teaching your mind how to choose peace, not just hope for it. You're setting a new pattern. There's something sacred about that kind of preparation. It's quiet work. No one claps for it. No one sees it, but it shows up in how you carry yourself when the real test comes. It shows up in the conversation where you don't snap, in the moment you don't retreat, in the chaos where you remain the steady one. And don't get me wrong, it won't always be perfect. You'll still have days when you fall back into old habits, when the pressure gets to you. But that doesn't mean the training isn't working. It means you're human. And you try again. You go back to that inner space and rehearse again and again until calm becomes your default, not your struggle. This is how strong people are made, not by avoiding stress, but by meeting it with intention. Not by pretending the world is gentle, but by becoming gentle within it. And when you meet your day with that kind of mental clarity, everything changes. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room. You don't need to prove anything. You just are. You are calm. You are prepared. You are ready not because life is predictable, but because your peace doesn't depend on it. And maybe one day someone will watch how you move through the world, how you stay steady when they would have crumbled, and they'll ask, how do you do it? And you'll know. You'll remember all those unseen moments, all those times you closed your eyes, took a breath, and practiced being exactly who you are now. So start today. Don't wait for the pressure to find you. Find your peace first. Teach your mind the way before the world tests your path. Let calm be something you live with, not something you look for. There comes a time when you have to decide who you want to be, no matter what the world throws your way. Because life will always come with its share of mess and noise. There will be misunderstandings. There will be unfairness. There will be moments that twist your heart, rattle your spirit, and make you want to shout, to shrink, to walk away from everything. But in the middle of all that, you still get to choose. You get to choose how you show up. You don't always get a say in what happens to you, but you always have a say in what happens in you. And when the world feels loud, when people are losing their heads, when the room fills with tension, and everybody is ready to break, if you can stand there, rooted in who you are, unbothered by the chaos, gentle in your strength, then you've already won. That's the kind of calm that can't be shaken. That's the kind of peace that doesn't flinch. People will test you. Oh, yes, they will. They'll say things to provoke you. They'll bring energy that feels heavy. And if you're not careful, you'll match it. You'll mirror it. You'll forget yourself. But that's not your purpose. You're not here to echo the noise. You're here to rise above it. You're here to be the example. To show that peace isn't weakness, it's power that knows how to sit still. It's strength that doesn't need to yell to be heard. You don't have to meet people where they are when where they are threatens your peace. You can honor them. You can love them. But you don't have to follow them into their storm. Sometimes the greatest act of self-respect is to say, I will not lower myself to match this energy. I will remain me no matter how loud this gets. That's not easy. That takes discipline. It takes daily choices, because the easy thing, the reflex, is to fight fire with fire, to clap back, to match the tone. But every time you do that, you hand over your power. You let someone else dictate your behavior. And baby, your spirit was not made to be led by drama. It was made to lead with grace. So you learn to pause. You learn to breathe. You learn to hold your center even when the wind is trying to knock you down. You remember that you are not what happens around you. You are what you choose to bring to the moment. And when you choose to bring calm, kindness, stillness, presence, especially when it's hardest, that's when it matters most. Let people be who they are. Let the noise be what it is. You don't have to engage with everything. You don't have to respond to every jab. You don't have to defend your character to folks committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes the loudest power is your silence. Not because you're afraid, but because your peace is too precious to be dragged through the mud. And yes, you'll feel it, the sting, the urge to prove something, the desire to set the record straight. But take a breath, come back to yourself, ask, what kind of person do I want to be in this moment? Not how can I win? Not how can I be right? But how can I stay true? And when you answer from that place, you'll see it's not about controlling the outside world. It's about not letting the outside world control you. You carry that calm into every room, into every conversation, into every trial. And over time, that becomes your legacy, not that you avoided conflict, but that you met it with maturity. Not that you never felt anger, but that you knew how to handle it with wisdom. That you didn't let the world shake you into someone you're not. Because real calm, it doesn't mean you don't feel. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've grown past the point of letting every little thing pull you out of your spirit. It means you found something deeper than the moment. Something stronger than the noise. Something that can't be taken from you because it was never given by the world in the first place. So choose peace not just once, but every day, every hour, every moment is tested. Let it be the way you live, not just the way you react. Let it be the foundation you stand on when everything else is shifting. Let it be who you are.